Right, okay, so time to record my thoughts on the WWE Backlash pay-per-view. I've just finished watching it. Not a great show, to be honest. Didn't expect too much from it a week after the Greatest Royal Rumble. Not much build. There were some very good bits, but a lot of weird bits and not so good bits. Got my List of Jericho t-shirt on today. Finally, something wrestling related, unlike the videos from yesterday's predictions video. But let's get on with it. So the pre-show, we had one match and then a couple of interview segments. One noteworthy thing was the Miz and the Mr. Arch were backstage, back together again. Kind of saw where it was going, and Miz was saying how great it was that, you know, he made them stars, and now they're all back together. And then they sort of turned their back and were like, no, look, we're not associated with you anymore, kind of thing. Miz looked disappointed. That was about all of note on the pre-show. Other than that, the match, of course, was Ruby Riott vs Bayley, which was a standard pre-show match. You know, you can't have a show-stealing match on the pre-show. I predicted a Ruby Riott win, and it was a Ruby Riott win, but it wasn't quite how I predicted it to go. I thought that the match would be Bayley getting a lot of the offense in. There would be significant interference from the Riott squad, which was a bit, and then Sasha Banks would come in, but we got no Sasha on the show, which is interesting. I guess it just shows that she's not there to help Bayley, but they're not going to feud either. I'm kind of guessing it's just going to die off, this feud. Maybe we're not actually going to get a one-on-one match between them. So it was fairly standard. There was some good moves in the match. Bayley did a nice Hurricane Rana at one point, and then the rest of it was mainly distractions. Sarah Logan got a slap or a punch of some kind in on Bayley on the rope. Ruby got a 2 count from that. And then a few minutes later, Liv got on the rope and just provided a distraction. And then Ruby got a kick in and then did the Riott kick to win it. Pin in the middle of the ring. That was about it for that match, really. We got the Miz v Seth Rollins, which I predicted would steal the show, and it did. It was by far the best match of the night. This was amazing, and I was thinking, wow, if the rest of the main card carries on like this, then we're going to have a hell of a show here, but kind of gathered that it wouldn't carry on like that, and it didn't. But the Miz and Seth Rollins were great. What a match this was. You know, lots of offense from both guys, lots of near falls and kickouts to excite the crowd. The crowd was hot for the match the whole way through. They both got extended move sets in, you know, showed a lot of their good stuff. There was some really good countering in this match. Just a few highlights, really. The massive splash from Seth off the top rope looked awesome. Miz kind of playing possum and then getting on the ring when it looked like he was going to go out to get a curb stomp. There were some great submissions in there. The intense figure 4 leg lock on Seth's knee when Seth hurt his knee, and then he kicked out of 2 skull crushing finales. I actually thought on the second one that might be the end of the match. I thought, wow, Miz might actually win this. So the second one got me. The first one didn't. And then, of course, the match finished with a curb stomp from Seth. The right man won. I predicted Seth to win. No point in the title going over to SmackDown. But it was a really, really great match between 2 really good guys. I said before, I think Seth's been the best in-ring performer in the last couple of months, and he certainly continued that on in this match with a fantastic showing, and credit to the Miz as well, of course. After that, we got Nia Jax v Alexa Bliss. I predicted a Nia win here, and that's what we got. One thing that confused me in this match was there was no Mickie James at all. She wasn't at ringside. They didn't even mention, to my knowledge, I don't think they mentioned her at all as why she wasn't there. So, a bit strange, that one. And she's always there for Alexa's matches. She was involved in the WrestleMania match. She's always in the build-up. So that was a strange decision, and unless there's a reason for it, I'm not sure about. The match started with Nia kind of throwing Alexa around. She does those awkward throws that she does, which was fine. There was a lot of countering from Alexa. There was a bit of a stupid spot in this match where there was a count out, and then Alexa couldn't get Nia back in the ring, so she went in the ring and told the ref to stop counting, and he just stopped counting. And then he started the recount before Alexa left the ring, which just didn't make any sense. It's not how it's done. You should just carry on the count, and for a 10 count, if there's one person still outside, then if the person goes outside the ring again, then the count restarts. But that's not how they did it. It looks stupid. The finish of the match was quite cool. I mean, Twisted Bliss counted into a Samoan drop. You could kind of see it coming, I guess, but it was decent. And then I cut a promo after the match. And the promo was I liked that. That was the best part of the match. I thought it's just a good feel-good message kind of thing. Nothing wrong with it. She delivered it well. And yeah, that's all I've got to say about the match. Really, it's kind of average and as expected. Then we had Jeff Hardy versus Randy Orton for the United States Championship. I predicted a Jeff Hardy win here. So far, that's a 4 out of 4 for me. There was a couple of high-flying early nice spots from Jeff Hardy. There's some nice drop kicks actually from Randy Orton, which you don't see very often. I wasn't expecting those, and they were quite cool. So Orton showed something a bit different to his usual offence. I think the crowd started to go down a bit here. There was a couple of Rusev Day chants during Orton's rest holds. There was a few too many slow parts of the match. It was okay. It was decent. It would have been a decent match on Raw, not on a pay-per-view. So yeah, an average match really. Got the finish you expected with Randy. With Jeff winning with the Swanton Bomb. That's how I expected it to end. I always love watching the Swanton Bomb and the Twist of Fate. They're exciting moves for me. So I was happy to see that. No RKO's out of nowhere, which would have also been cool, but I think the right person won. As I said in the predictions video, the US title needs to stay with someone for a bit because it's been going around way too much. So I'm glad that Jeff Hardy won from that perspective, really. Then we got a little backstage segment with Samoa Joe doing a little interview. That was fine. And then we got a surprise in-ring performance from Elias, which I wasn't expecting. And I love Elias. He's very entertaining. It was great. He started talking about Bruce Springsteen and how Bruce Springsteen calls him the boss, which I thought was a cool line. He's just really entertaining. The crowd was really into him. And then the New Day came out, and I was like, oh, where's this going? This is a bit of a surprise. And then they made a cool line about them enjoying a solo act, which the crowd didn't seem to get, but I thought was funny. It was a very entertaining segment, and then Aiden English came out and the crowd went nuts and started chanting Rusev Day, and they did a little promo, and then No Way Jose came out. It all got a bit chaotic, it all got a bit silly, but it was entertaining. Madness, really. Titus Worldwide were in the conga line, and so were Breezango. Then Elias restarted again, he kept restarting. And he was like, right, no one's interrupting this time. He starts playing, glorious music comes on, but Bobby Roode's behind him in the ring and hits him with a glorious DDT, which I guess means continues the feud. They've been feuding on Raw. Elias has had the better of Bobby so far, so I'm assuming now Bobby's going to sort of get his revenge and make his comeback. And then Bobby Roode was doing some shuffling dancing. It was quite funny. It was a different side of Bobby Roode. It was a really entertaining, silly, fun segment to break the show up. I thought it was quite a nice thing to do, really. Get a few guys on the show that weren't in matches as well. Then we got Bryan versus Cass, which, I've had high hopes for. Both their first matches wrong. This is the first prediction I got wrong. I actually expected Cass to win because I said that he needed the momentum. His first match back, Bryan could afford a loss and then maybe have a rematch and win the second time. But Cass lost the first time, which is interesting. The match was quite short. I thought it'd go longer. Cass is an in-ring performer. Still not overly convinced. I think his promos have been very good since come back, but his moveset is quite boring. He doesn't move particularly quickly. He's an okay wrestler, but there was "We Want Enzo" chants at Cass in this match, which I think says a lot about what people think of him. And I just don't think, even if the WWE does try to push him hard, I don't think the majority of the fans are gonna buy into it too much unless his in-ring work massively improves. Bryan did some good offense in this match, but it was a lot of sort of the same moves. It was nothing special from him. I was quite disappointed with the quickness of the match. I could have made Cass get a lot more offense in, and then if they were going to put Bryan to win the match, have Bryan get loads more exciting moves in. But it was quite quick, really. Got the yes lock on early, and he tapped up straight away. There was no struggle to try and get out of it. It was quite weird, the finish. And I think Cass should have wanted to carry on the momentum, but Bryan is the biggest star, so I understand why they've gone with Bryan to win. And then the attack after the match, of course, injuring Bryan, that kind of made the booking a bit more sensible, because then at least that sets up another match, which I'm assuming Cass can get in and then get a win back. So that was a good idea, and I think that made Cass look fairly strong at least. So that was good. Good decision. Not just have Bryan win and then that'll be it, because otherwise that really would harm Cass, I feel. Then we had Carmella versus Charlotte. This was just okay. I was a bit surprised, no interference at all from the Iconics here or Becky Lynch either, trying to help Charlotte. It was a very standard match. There was a lot of intimidation, a lot of imitating. Sorry, Carmella imitating Charlotte and the Flair moves and stuff. She tried to escape with a belt. It was quite slow, way too much submissions, loads of trash talking in this match from Carmella, which was fine. And then she kind of got the win out of nowhere. It was a very average match, really. I've not got a lot to say about it. I was a little bit disappointed. I think the show started to go down a bit here after the Brian Cass onwards. I didn't think there was disappointing. No matches were as good as they should have been. So then we had Braun and Lashley versus KO and Sami Zayn. I thought this would be in a... Oh, sorry, no, we had AJ Styles v Nakamura first. The finish. Let's talk about the finish first. It's a no DQ match, so they do a double 10 count out in the ring, which I thought was just dumb. The match was just getting good. I really loved the chair, the stuff on the chair, Nakamura's exploder, and then AJ chucking the chair, rebounding him in the face. He was cut open. All that stuff was cool. The match was getting good. The crowd was starting to get into it. It was a very good match, technically, I guess, and it was getting good. They did a double low blow, low blow after low blow, and then they did the double kick low blow, which was an awesome spot. But they should not have ended the match the way they did. I guess it sets up another feud, probably a last man standing match now, I'd assume, based on the finish. So, you know, I'm getting a bit sick of seeing the same match. But, you know, we're finally going to get an outcome, I guess, next time. I just didn't like the finish. The match itself was good. Braun and Lashley v KO and Sami Zayn. This was what it was. I expected Braun and Lashley to win. It was quite obvious. Oh, I got the Nakamura prediction wrong. By the way, I predicted Nakamura to win, so double count out. No one won. Yeah, this was fine. I expected the tension to between Braun and Lashley was going to turn on Braun and set up a feud there, but all the stuff was to do with Owens and KO, again teasing the split up, which I'm not a massive fan of, because they keep teasing it and then they get back together. It's like repetitive stuff, really. Nothing to get excited about. There's some good stuff on here. The chases around the ring on Sammy, where Kevin then got in the way, was good, and then after that it was the story of Sammy trying to escape, Kevin telling them to fight on, and they kept chucking each other in to get beaten up. Lashley got the pin, which I suppose that I thought it would be Strowman because it's a hot tag, but they tagged again. Lashley did do a lot of the early work, and it was quite slow paced. When Strowman came in, the crowd popped. But yeah, Lashley got the pin on Owens, which was a bit of a surprise. And then Braun power slammed him afterwards, and then Sammy got power slammed as well. It was an okay match, nothing to get excited about. It was fine for what it was in the sort of spot in between Styles and Nakamura and the main event, which I was disappointed the main event wasn't AJ versus Shinsuke, because the WWE Championship is the biggest title on the line. Why is it in that spot? That should have been the crowd would have got excited, I think, if it was the main event. They thought, right, there's something big's going to happen here, but it just didn't. And they put Joe Reigns in there, and the crowd absolutely destroyed it again here. This is boring chants, CM Punk chants, Rusev Day, Johnny Wrestling, all sorts in this match. Some of the crowd, I've seen videos of it, some of the crowd left. I liked the attack before from Joe, before the bell rang. Joe putting Reigns for a table with Uranagi, that was cool. And I thought, wow, they just need to carry on this momentum. And then the match slowed down and it was boring and methodical. There was one cool bit where Joe flew out of the ring. That was a nice spot. But apart from that, then it was kind of obvious. After Joe got a nice Kahina clutch in, Roman was fading. I thought the ref might call it at that point, but he didn't. As soon as Roman got out of that match, got out of that Kahina clutch, you knew he was winning the match. And then it didn't last long after that. One spear. And he kicked out. He did have his foot on the rope for an earlier spear, so it kind of was two, but really only one after that, and he wins the match clean, and it's kind of back to the old Roman booking, which is a bit disappointing. So yeah, overall thoughts on the show, it was a bit of a disappointment. It started red hot, and the Miz v Seth Rollins was brilliant. I enjoyed the Elias segment and everything that went with that. The AJ Nakamura match was good itself, but the finish was, I didn't like it. I kind of understand it if they're going to go for one more match, but didn't like that. And Joe v Reigns really disappointed me. I thought that was going to be a great match, and it really disappointed me. I thought it was boring. And the same with Bryan and Cass disappointed me a bit as well, which is surprising. But so yeah, I would say it was a 6.5 out of 10, an average show overall. and that's about my thoughts on it. Maybe I'll be back for Raw and SmackDown review this week at some point, possibly. But yeah, that's it for now. So I've got to say, bye.